So, for those of us who don't know you, who are you and what do you do?
My name is Noel Sosa. Currently, my main function as a professional is to run a broadcasting company called Rocks Radio Group. It's the largest Northwest Arkansas based radio provider in the market. That's my current job, but I've got a couple other things I do. Host a couple of different podcasts, a couple of different passion projects. And 23, yeah, as of right now, 23-year veteran of the radio industry.
Where are you from?
Originally Corpus Christi, Texas. So I'm a Texas kid, South Texas, Corpus Christi. Lived a little bit in Houston for a short while, and yeah, South Texas kid, man. And then spent a number of years in Oklahoma City, um, and then since 2016, I've been here in NWA, Northwest Arkansas.
How was your childhood growing up in Texas?
Had a great family, you know. Could have been better if I had listened, instead of being just such a knucklehead. You grow up in a certain environment and you see certain things and think that's the way to live your life. So I'm definitely part of that, but the Lord has blessed me with grace, um, granted me grace, and allowed me to make something of myself in a much more positive light, as a person, as a professional, all those things. But can't complain, man. One time for the Crooked City, Corpus Christi, Texas, man, down there in the 361. That's my people are still back there. But childhood was great, man. Very blessed. It could be different. There's things I could cry about and be sad about, but uh, you are where you're at today because of where you've been. You know,
Tell us how you got started in radio.
in a very untraditional way. I got into the radio industry. Traditionally, the normal way to get into radio is to get your formal education, study broadcasting, journalism, things of that nature, get an internship, parlay that into a job opportunity, and those are the traditional steps that you take to get into the radio industry. I did not have a traditional path. Honestly, I never even truly thought ever really about working in the radio industry. Truth is, when I was younger, I thought I'd be a musician myself. I thought I was going to become a big rap star and all those things. And we did. Look, to real talk, we had success. But opportunity came. I remember I had opened up for a show, um, for the local radio station. Obviously, 23 years ago, or many years ago, opened up for the local show, had success, got invited to come back for the big show that they were having, and had more success. We did well. So afterwards, a guy that a partner of mine, G Money, had introduced me to was running the radio station. This guy, Billy Thorman, was running the broadcasting company down there in my hometown. And he said he wanted to meet with me. And I thought, at the time, damn, I'm finna blow up. Like, this dude gonna play my music on the radio, help me get a record deal. We rich, baby, that type of situation. Well, he ended up offering me a job. He was like, man, I think you would work really well on air, like as a radio personality. And I'm like, what? That wasn't what I was thinking. But I gave it a shot. And 23 years later, still doing it, still running with that ball, still running with that ball.
What made you want to become a rap star?
Man, it's one of those things, right? Like, what is rap? I mean, what is music? It's art, you know? I always kind of had such a love for music. I always talk about music as like the universal language, even more so than mathematics, right? Because there is mathematics in music, and people will have that argument all day long. What is the universal language? But the difference with music is you don't have to understand it to feel it. You know what I mean? Like you're gonna feel that. It don't matter what level of intellect that you have, you can feel something with music. To me, so that's the true universal language. Um, you know, no formal education necessary. Just existing. Music can speak to you, can touch you. And look, a partner that I used to work with in the radio industry back when I worked for Perry Broadcasting was a friend of mine named Johnny Moore, one of the best salesmen I ever worked with. Great guy, made me a ton of money. Shout out to Johnny. He said, music is how people chronicle their lives. What a statement. It's true. I mean, you can hear a song and it take you right back to a certain instance, a certain place, a certain feeling, a certain emotion, right? Um, just a fascination with music. Uh, and to be able to utilize myself in my mind, in my emotions, to create that art was always very appealing. Always very appealing.
I would imagine there the competition amongst local artists in that area um, was pretty competitive. Tell us about the challenges of trying to become a rap star, mogul, whatever in that area at the time.
Man, it's same challenges today. It just maybe looks a little bit different because the technologies and social, constructs that exist are a little bit different these days. People communicate differently. People intake media a little bit differently, right? There's more out there, more ways to listen to music and to consume, a product. But a lot of the same challenges, again, just remixed a little bit, just given the time frame. Listen, you know, every now and then you get a guy who gets lucky, goes viral, or has a big hit and takes off. Sure. But again, that's a very untraditional way of doing it. You really got to put in the work. People look at music as like this fun thing. And you know what? In a sense, it can very much well be, right? I think if you're doing music right, you should be vibrating on a frequency that resonates in a way that brings you some fulfillment, enjoyment. I think there's something to that. There's something to that. Um, but it's also very serious. I mean, you can't be a part-time hustler. You know what I mean? So if you really bout it, like and it depends what your goals are. Listen, I love a musician, an artist of any kind who just wants to utilize this as a way of expression, and it ain't about like competing or trying to accomplish any goals. It's just about expression, and I love that because I think that's art at its purest, you know. But if you're trying to make this like make a living off of it, you better put that time in, because whether you want to recognize it or not, who would we say the number one hip hop artist in the world is right now? I mean, I don't know, but let that guy. That's who you're competing with. That man or woman, whoever that is, that's who you're competing with. Matter of fact, you can even say forget genres. There is no genre. It's just entertainment. Period. You know, if that's the mission you're on, you're gonna have to really work because odds are you don't have the budget they have or the resources they have. So you better be working to make up that ground, to make a name for yourself, for people to look your way. Listen, we live in a day and age where, you know, getting your product out there has never been easier. But because of that, how do you get people to pay attention to you specifically? So it's really about branding. And that's a whole another side of it too, right? But those same challenges, man, apply. I mean, back then we had to get on the grind, pop trunks, sell CDs, passed out flyers, posters. Today, you still want to do those things, but now you really want to focus on streams. You really want to focus on, social, building your social media, being accessible to the audience that you're trying to engage with.
Do you enjoy doing radio over your love for music, for rap music that you had?
That's a great question. And interestingly enough, I don't remember anybody actually asking me that. Um, I could be wrong, but it's a really good question. Makes me scratch my head because they go hand in hand, but they are very different. I think I always did really enjoy being able to paint the picture, right? To be the artist. But there is something to be said about being able to facilitate the art, you know, to be involved in not just what I'm doing, but what everybody's doing. So I really, it's funny, man. It's kind of asking me like, which kid do you like more? You know what I mean? I love them all. I love both sides of it. I really do. I got a passion for it. Um, and where my career is taking me now, I'm even more on the business side of things when it comes to the radio. Um, and I love that. Like honestly, man, I just, I think I'm just a fan of being a part of something that can touch folks, whether it be as the artist or a facilitator of the art or someone who is behind the scenes, putting plays together. I just appreciate all that, I really do. And I'm not trying to not give you an answer, but the truth is, man, I can appreciate all the aspects of it. I really, really can.
Since I've known you, you've always been heavily involved in the local community.
Sure.
Where did you develop that passion?
Man, you know, that's really what the media, particularly the radio industry, is truly all about. That's what made radio special was its relationship with the community that it serves. Serves, right? What's going on out there? We want to be there with you. We want to support it. What you guys got cooking up? Who needs help? What are we doing? Let's have some fun. All the things like having that relationship with the community in the region, right? Using that broadcast to make a difference. Um, some of my best memories in radio have been just getting out and being with people and being a part of what's going on, being a part of something. Um, it does something for you that, you know, even monetary things can't do, to truly build relationships. To walk into a room and people smile and appreciate your presence, that's amazing. That's amazing. And then to have a genuine love for those people yourself. It's a two-way street. It's a reciprocated thing. Uh that's where the magic happens, man. That's really where it's all about. At the end of the day, um, everything's about relationships, and to be in a position to 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 impact communities, people, um, different campaigns and efforts that may be happening. It really is a privilege. It really is a privilege, and I've never lost sight of that. It's grateful for the opportunity to do those things.
What is your philosophy? Like, what rules have you created for your life based on life lessons that you live by today?
I had a real life changing moment around 2008. That was the year where my world changed 180 degrees, and it was for the better. I was given an opportunity to kind of hit the reset button on life. Um, and again, that's a whole long story, but I found myself in a place, and I remember receiving a message very clearly. I remember to this day how it happened. And I just remember understanding, like, look, man, you're now blessed with an opportunity to make life what you want it to be. The only people in your life are going to be people you want in your life. Who do you allow to get close to you? Who do you allow in your circle? You get to make your circle. Um, what kind of life will you live? You know. And I remember a time where I couldn't sleep at night. I sleep like a baby now. you know. So I just remember being real mindful about who I was, who I was around, and what I was doing. And I try to never do anything to compromise my integrity. Now, I ain't no angel now. I'll never claim to be that. Trust me. Your boy, I fall short all the time. But my heart and my mission is to stay aligned enough to where I can still go to sleep at night and relax and not be paranoid and not look over my shoulder and not worry about I did this, I did that. Keep your nose clean, man. Easier said than done now. Easier said than done now. It's a cold world. But I think once I had that realization in 2008, my whole life changed. And it's allowed me to get to where I'm at today. And again, that accompanied with the blessings and the opportunities, right? But to be aware of those and take advantage of those.
What is your why? Like, what drives you to wake up every morning and work as hard as you do?
It's like people always want what they don't have, right? Yeah, you got folks who grew up in the country want to move to the city. You got people in the city want to move out to the country. You got young folks want to be older, old folks want to be younger. You always want what you ain't got. Well, man, I ain't never had much. And so I get up every day to change that, but not just for me, for everyone around me. My true definition of success is you're eating, and everyone around you is eating, because that means we ain't ever going back. That means we've changed our stars. That means we have altered the game and the trajectory for anybody coming behind, right? Uh, I mean, where I sit today, right now, I mean, I've been up getting at it all day, right? I mean, meeting here, meeting there, running all up and down that highway, putting crazy miles on my car because I'm hungry to this day, because I ain't there yet, not where I want to be. And again, it's not even just for me; it's for my family, for my loved ones, for my friends, for my community. You know, because if I can lead the way or just be a part of it, I feel like I can leave an impact that'll last long after I'm out of here. Right? I mean, I can look at it like this: in 10 years, I'm gonna be 50. It's too late. No, no, no. In 10 years, my niece will be 10 years old. In 10 years, my nephew, he'll be just a young adult. If I can get it today, they winning. You know. So I mean, that's really a big part of my motivation. And again, right? You always want to leave something behind, something that means something. The more people you could touch, talking about interacting with the community and that stuff, the more people you can affect, the more good you can do. And I hope that one day when I do check out of here and they put me up on the scale, my good outweighs the bad. So I got a lot of work to do.
Touching on that more, what do you want your legacy to be? Like in the next 10, 20 years when we look back and think about you, and what do you want to accomplish now so then when we look back at what you have accomplished, we can be in awe?
I want to be able to do what I got to do so my daughter can do what she wants to do or is truly purposed to do. Sometimes it's hard for us to live in our purpose because we're just trying to keep our head above water, right? And that's where I come from. Again, right? I've alluded to that. Like, man, never had much, man, but we made it and we fighting. We still fighting. I'm here right now talking to you. Like, that's a blessing in itself, baby. Um, but if I can do enough to empower those around me, those behind me, coming back, following me, and allow them just a better opportunity. I mean, that's what, for example, my daughter, right? She's 21, she's grown now, out on her own, and she's light years ahead of me when I was her age. Thank God. As a parent, you always want to get your kids a little bit further down the road than you were, a little bit better than you had it. If I can do that, that's enough for me. I mean, if I can do something great, thank God, you know. And sure, I got visions of grandeur and all those things and things I'd like to accomplish. If I can do those things, outstanding. But at a minimum, if I can get me and mine and those who are like minded and like hearted a little bit further down the road, that's enough.
What advice do you have for people who would like to follow in your footsteps or accomplish dreams that um, may seem out of reach for them right now? What advice do you have for those people?
Hmm. Well, nothing's ever truly out of reach. It may seem like that, trust me. But one thing I've learned for certain is that, look, a journey of 1,000 miles is begun with one step. Stay at it. If you truly have it in your heart, go for it. Truly now, for the right reasons. If it's in here for real, not something you think is good, but if something speaks to you on like a soul level, go for it. And it ain't gonna happen overnight. Some of us get lucky, but don't count on that. Luck is a bonus. Put in the work, one step at a time. One step at a time. If you can stay consistent in that, nothing is out of reach. Nothing. I look at the way technology is continuing to change the landscape of society and all the things that are possible. Um, I mean, not to get too far down the rabbit hole, because you definitely could with that. I mean, you even start thinking about the possibilities of one day, achieve quantum supremacy and how these supercomputers are now going to be in the palm of your hand and technology. I mean, it's crazy. Nothing is impossible. If you've got a vision, whatever that vision is, on a human level, on a professional level, through art, through hard work, things with your hands, man, nothing's out of reach. Nothing's out of reach if you've truly got it in you to go for it. I would just say don't ever let anything discourage you from truly going after your heart's desires.
If people want to get in contact with you, how would they?
Man, give me a holler. I'm something I used to do that I hadn't done so much recently. Man, I just be throwing my phone number all over the place. But feel free to reach out to me on any of the social platforms. I mean, I'm on Facebook, Instagram, primarily. Noel Sosa. You can just look me up, or Noel Sosa 1000 on IG. Um, Man, send me a message. I try to be as accessible as possible. Um, One thing I'm doing this year is being real intentional about who I spend time with, because we only have so much bandwidth as people. There's only so much that we can do before we start slacking. You know, and I'm a little guilty of that. So I'm trying to write that. But listen, I love talking. I love engaging. I love learning. That's the thing. Even look, I've been doing radio, 23 years, and I try to learn every day. I don't got to figure it out. I think a true master is a forever student. You know, someone who never stops learning. So I'm just trying to learn every day. Learn about my craft. Learn about people, the human condition, my brothers, my sisters, all of us out here. Um, hey, I try to be accessible as possible, and I'd love to hear from you.